What if, in just 100 days, your entire body could rebuild itself, cell by cell, simply by removing one thing you thought you couldn't live without? Imagine waking up and realizing your mind is clearer, your skin glows, and even your heartbeat feels lighter. Most people think quitting alcohol only changes how you feel. But what actually happens inside you is far more dramatic. If you stay with this journey until the end, you'll see how every organ, every cell, and even your thoughts transform in ways you never imagined possible. The moment you put down your last drink, your body begins a quiet revolution. It doesn't shout or glow overnight, but deep inside, cells start rewriting their routine. Alcohol may have been a loyal companion for years, filling gaps, easing pressure, making nights louder. But now the body begins to clear the fog. Within hours of your final sip, the liver steps in, processing and breaking down what's left of the toxin. Enzymes get to work, converting the alcohol into harmless elements: water, carbon dioxide, and energy. The speed of this process depends on many things: your age, genetics, and history of drinking. But within half a day, most of the alcohol is gone from the bloodstream. Yet, that's when the discomfort begins. When the alcohol level drops to zero, the hangover hits with full force. Your brain, deprived of the sedative chemical it relied on, starts sending confused signals. It's not the alcohol itself that causes this misery. It's the imbalance left behind. Scientists believe the immune system plays a part too, reacting to withdrawal as if fighting an infection. Sleep quality collapses, dehydration peaks, and anxiety may rise. You might feel foggy, restless, or strangely emotional. It's your nervous system waking up after being held down for too long. But as unpleasant as this first day feels, it's the foundation of every healing moment that follows. By the end of the first week, something powerful begins inside your liver. For years, it's been inflamed, clogged with fat, and overwhelmed by the endless stream of alcohol. In many people, the liver swells in size, cells overloaded with stored fat, enzymes like ALT and AST, the markers that doctors use to measure liver health, climb far beyond normal levels. Yet within 7 days of quitting, these numbers start dropping. And studies show they can fall by nearly half in that short time. The liver doesn't hold grudges. It starts healing the moment you let it. Meanwhile, your gut, the system that absorbs and filters much of what enters your body, also starts to stabilize. Alcohol disrupts the balance of good and bad bacteria, damaging the lining of the intestine so harmful compounds leak into the bloodstream. After a week of sobriety, that barrier begins to mend. Inflammation decreases, and digestion becomes more efficient again. By day 14, the first real visible change appears. Your blood pressure, once kept unnaturally high by alcohol's impact on the cardiovascular system, starts to normalize. Alcohol makes blood vessels constrict and expands them unpredictably, confusing the body's rhythm. 2 weeks without it, and your pulse begins to slow. Your heart doesn't need to work as hard to move blood. People often describe a sense of calm, not just mental but physical, like their heartbeat is no longer racing ahead of their mind. Resting heart rate begins to drop too, showing that your heart muscle is regaining strength and efficiency. Around the 3-week mark, the liver's progress is nothing short of astonishing. The fatty buildup that once made it sluggish begins to clear. If you could see an ultrasound of your liver at this point, the difference would be striking. It's shrinking back toward normal size, its texture smoother and healthier. Under a microscope, many of the cells that once stored fat are now clean and functioning again. Bone health also takes a turn upward. Chronic alcohol use weakens the skeleton, slowly stealing minerals from the bones. After 21 days, the body begins reversing that process. Calcium absorption improves, and the markers of bone formation rise, quietly rebuilding strength that was slipping away unnoticed. At day 30, you reach a milestone that feels transformative. Energy begins returning in a steady wave. You wake up clearer, with fewer morning headaches and less brain fog. The body's metabolism, which alcohol had disrupted for years, starts functioning normally again. Insulin resistance, a condition linked to weight gain, diabetes, and heart disease, drops dramatically within a month of sobriety. Many people lose weight around this time too, not because they're dieting, but simply because they've stopped consuming hundreds of empty calories hidden in every glass. Alcohol tricks the body. It gives energy but no nutrition, stimulates appetite, and blocks fat burning. Without it, your system starts using fuel efficiently again. Even your face begins to change. Puffiness fades, dark circles lighten, and skin looks hydrated for the first time in ages. By the 40th day, deeper healing begins inside your blood. Alcohol pushes glucose and cholesterol levels upward, but now your bloodstream starts to stabilize. Blood sugar drops by as much as a quarter, and cholesterol levels start falling too. These small changes drastically reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke over time. Inside the arteries, the lining begins to repair itself, reducing inflammation and plaque buildup. Oxygen delivery improves, and cells throughout the body begin to regenerate at a faster rate. You might notice mental clarity increasing. Thoughts feel sharper, memory steadier, attention easier to maintain. That's because the brain, deprived of alcohol's sedating effects, has finally begun to rewire its chemistry for balance. As the 50-day point approaches, the emotional side of recovery starts taking shape. Cravings may still appear, but they're different now. Less about physical dependency and more about habit and association. A stressful day, a party, or an old friend could spark a brief urge. But the longer you stay alcohol-free, the more detached those impulses feel. Your mind starts to view alcohol not as comfort, but as something foreign, even toxic. This is where real freedom begins. Not when you're simply abstaining, but when the desire itself starts to dissolve. The sleep you get by this point feels deeper, your dreams return, and your mornings carry a freshness that might feel unfamiliar after years of fatigue. You've moved from detox to regeneration, from surviving to rebuilding. And you're only halfway there. If you've made it this far, you've already done what most people never will. But what happens next, between day 51 and 100, will completely redefine how you see yourself. Because this stage isn't just about healing, it's about transformation. The body has rebuilt itself, and now the mind begins to follow. By the end of these final days, you won't just feel different, you'll be different. Crossing the 50-day mark means entering a new stage of balance. The body has stabilized, and now the mind starts to catch up. Cravings that once shouted now whisper, easily silenced with a breath or distraction. For the first time in a long while, you can think clearly without alcohol hovering over every thought. Your brain's neurotransmitters, which once depended on alcohol's constant interference, begin to communicate normally again. Dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, the chemicals that shape your mood, motivation, and calmness, start finding their natural rhythm. That inner restlessness that used to sneak up in the evenings begins to fade, replaced by a calm alertness. You can sit in silence without wanting to escape it. Sleep deepens, dreams feel vivid, and mornings come without the heavy fog of regret. By day 60, your immune system has rebuilt much of the strength that alcohol once eroded. When you drank, white blood cells weakened, leaving you more vulnerable to infections and slower recovery from illness. Now, those defenses have regrouped. Inflammation levels drop across the body, and small aches, like the dull pain in joints or the random tension in muscles, begin to disappear. Your body is no longer fighting itself. Energy feels steady throughout the day. Many people describe this period as rediscovering normal. It's not excitement, it's equilibrium. The kind of quiet stability you forgot existed. This second month also brings a powerful mental clarity. The fog that lingered for years begins to lift entirely. Tasks that once felt overwhelming now seem manageable. You can plan, organize, and complete things without constant distraction. Your memory sharpens because the hippocampus, a brain region heavily damaged by alcohol, is regenerating. You might not notice it happening, but your ability to recall names, conversations, and small details returns almost naturally. You're not just sober now. You're operating at full mental capacity again. At 70 days, your skin and eyes begin to tell their own story of recovery. Alcohol dehydrates every cell, reducing elasticity and dulling natural color. But now, the glow returns. Collagen production increases, fine lines start to fade, and circulation improves enough to give your face a subtle radiance. Your eyes, once tired and glassy, look brighter, more focused. The body has learned to hold hydration properly again. This isn't vanity, it's a reflection of inner balance. When the organs work together smoothly, beauty naturally follows. By the time you reach 80 days, you begin to sense something even more profound: the return of emotional depth. For years, alcohol numbed not just pain, but joy. It flattened emotions into a narrow spectrum of artificial comfort and emptiness. Now, those layers start coming back. Music feels more powerful. Laughter feels real. Sadness, when it appears, doesn't drown you. It moves through you and fades naturally. The brain's reward system, which had been hijacked by alcohol's chemical shortcuts, is rewiring itself to respond to life's simple pleasures again. Sunlight, friendship, progress, peace. This is one of the most underrated parts of recovery, the rediscovery of genuine feeling. Day 90 arrives like the dawn after a long storm. 90 days without alcohol is a complete biological reboot. Your liver enzymes are now near perfect, blood sugar is balanced, and cholesterol levels are healthy. The neural pathways that once linked pleasure with drinking have weakened. The mind no longer runs to alcohol as a default response. Instead, your habits start to align with long-term goals. Many people notice creative bursts or productivity spikes during this stage. It's as if the brain, now free from constant sedation, wants to make up for lost time. Focus sharpens, reaction time improves, and confidence begins to rise from genuine self-control rather than temporary highs. Even your posture and breathing change. Shoulders relax, breaths go deeper. The body language of stress slowly transforms into that of strength. Physically, your endurance increases. Whether you're climbing stairs, running, or just walking, your stamina feels different. The lungs, no longer inflamed, handle oxygen better. Circulation becomes efficient, and fatigue that once arrived midday rarely visits anymore. Many people find that they start craving movement itself, morning walks, stretching, or gym sessions. This is your body's way of celebrating renewal. The endorphins released during exercise now work naturally, not as a substitute for alcohol, but as a sustainable source of calm and happiness. As the 100-day mark approaches, you reach a place where healing turns into transformation. The physical repairs are mostly complete. The liver is functioning at full strength. The cardiovascular system is resilient. The brain's gray matter, once shrunk from years of exposure, has regained volume and flexibility. The cells responsible for memory, coordination, and reasoning are fully active. You feel sharper, faster, and more alive. This stage isn't just recovery, it's reinvention. You begin noticing that your thought patterns have changed. Stress doesn't spiral into panic anymore. You face challenges instead of running from them. Alcohol no longer occupies space in your identity. It becomes a past chapter, not a present temptation. Emotionally, the growth is profound. Your relationships start to shift. Conversations become more genuine, your patience increases, and people notice the difference even before you mention it. Family members trust your consistency again. Friends respect your clarity. And you begin attracting people who share this new grounded energy. The social world that once revolved around drinks starts to feel small compared to the possibilities that open up without them. You have time again. Time to create, to explore, to feel. And time feels longer, richer, more meaningful when it isn't blurred by intoxication. On day 100, the reflection in the mirror doesn't show the same person who began this journey. The eyes are awake, the skin carries warmth, and the voice sounds calmer. Inside, organs that once struggled to keep up are working in perfect sync. The brain no longer pleads for relief. It's found peace. The liver, heart, and gut operate like a finely tuned system. The reward pathways are reset, ready to respond to life itself instead of chemicals. You realize something extraordinary. Sobriety isn't just the absence of alcohol. It's the presence of yourself. That's what 100 days of quitting alcohol truly gives you. Clarity, control, and a rebirth from within. It's the proof that the human body doesn't just survive without alcohol. It thrives in its absence. Every cell that once begged for relief now celebrates freedom. Every morning begins clean, every night ends calm. And the journey that started with pain ends with power. The kind that comes from knowing that your life, your mind, and your body are entirely your own again.